Hi, this is Denise Getz for CIT360. I would like to explain my application. I did an Android application in combination with server in order to represent all the different topics. And to begin with, model view controller pattern was exhibited by me having an Android app as the view. The server side was the controller, and my model was the SQL. MySQL is what I used, and I have separated those programs out into anything that touched the databases was considered a DAO layer. So those are contained in there. In order to communicate from my my Android phone, I had to use an async task, which represents the threads, in order to do that. Because if you don't use an async task when communicating with the server, it will lock up your phone. And in some places, I think I saw it, you just cause an error and just won't work anymore. So that's the thread portion of that. And my HTTP URL connect is, where are you? Down, sorry. It's right here. Okay, so I set it up here. I do a post, and I'm posting JSON data back and forth from both the Android and the server side. So everything is contained in the JSON, and I put it in a hash map that's pretty much formatted the same way, and for both sending it to and back and forth. So that represents the collections. Also in my shop list, I also use an array list for the list portion of the creation of the shopping. So that's another collections. The application controller program. Okay, the rest of it's over here, so that's perfect. The application controller, pattern exists right here. Basically, this is my main servlet, and it does three things. It basically takes in the data, deserializes it, like basically unwraps the package so that we can know what command that it wants to do, and it sends the handler in the application controller pattern handles the different requests. And so here's the command and the map, and it sends it through application controller, which then handler, and then which would either in this case go to login, or it would go into the register. I have two of them working right now, and if I had more, I would just simply add them to the map right here, and then add the other programs that I needed. And once again, I said this is the DAO layer, which is the Hibernate promote portion, and I'll show you that in just a second. So here I can show you some previous commands that I have done. Let's see. Okay, so when the program comes in, it says, hello from server, thank you for the JSON data, and it reads in this JSON. It's literally in JSON format. You can see that it is JSON format right here. And then the next thing I do is I say server deserialize this. That is literally this line. So this is a deserialized version. And it takes in the command, and it will go to Thor wanted to log in this case. As you can see, this is login. And when you log in, you basically just have your login name and your password. And so that's why the rest of these in the command login. That's why the rest of these are not filled in. And so this is a return response at that point. So that was deserialized. Okay. So the Hibernate portion, I'll just show you really quickly, is right here. It's in both in the login DAO and the register DAO. It sets up for Hibernate, and it will go to the database and query user where the login is equal to log and password is equal to pass. So it's basically just looking for those. If it comes back successful, looking for the login and the password. If it comes back successful, then it prints out these two things, and that was right here. Probably Thor wants to log in. No show model. I don't know where that is. Well, regardless, it's in here. I know it is. Thor and the password is right there. So to not get too stuck in the details, you can see that that is my Hibernate, and I also have it over here. This is slightly different because I'm adding things to. I'm not just going and looking. I'm adding things to the database because we're registering someone. Okay, so I think I've covered pretty much all the different aspects: Hibernate, servlets, application controller, collections, JSON, HTTP connect, and threads, and MVC. I did it. So let's look at this. Let's see if I can get, now the debugger in Android has not been very happy. So let's see if he'll work for me right now. So I'm just gonna Thor, and then his password's already loaded up. I'll click it. Oh, it's gonna work for me. So this is just going through shared preferences. Okay, so it went in through here. Thor's already logged in. Just gonna let it run. And so because Thor's already logged in, it comes straight up to his list, okay, the list. And this list is stored currently and using shared preferences in Android, which is like a file for that application or an area of storage for that application. And in his list, you can come in here and say he's bought eggs, and so do you want to remove it? Sure, we'll delete the eggs, and then we can add. Wait a minute, I didn't buy them. Let's put it back in. So you can actually add items into the list, and you can see that they're actually getting in there, and you can remove them. Okay, so this was meant to be a group app where this list could be shared, and that's why there's this cloud here. What I decided was it was a bad idea to put an individual item and then have it immediately run off to the server. I thought I would put that responsibility on the user. Once they're done making their list, they could click this cloud and send it up to the server, and it would be stored in a database where the group could use that list. Unfortunately, I didn't get this portion working because the group portion was a little more complicated than what I thought. And what I realized was, it should be done through, how you set up a group should be done through like just kind of the same way that you would set up like WhatsApp or WhatsApp or whatever it's called, or even Slack, where one person sets it up and they use their email IDs, and they get sent an email, which contained in that email, it has a sort of a group ID along with, some sort of association with the group name and the group ID, and that gets stored in a database, and that's really how it should be done. Otherwise, it just wasn't working. The relationship wasn't working with what I had, and I didn't get that portion of this done, but I did represent all of the topics, so that's why I'm going ahead and showing you this. Anyways, so this cloud doesn't work. That would have been its function, sending it up to the cloud, and I could actually have made another cloud where it was taking it down. But so currently, because he's already logged in, Thor's already logged in, as soon as he clicks on his app, get rid of it. Boy. As soon as he clicks on it, his list comes up. Okay, it knows. And that's through shared preferences. Again, I basically said if he already logged in, I just save that in a little piece, and it knows. So, but I can log out It'll send me to my logout or my login screen here. And then let's just do this. Say they're not registered or you want to register. It says, so you want to register. Okay, a little toast snotty message. So let's just say I got Felix in here. Let's delete Felix and add him back in just for being able to do that. I'll show you, I'll proof to you that I really did delete him. So Felix is gone. All right. So let's go back to here. If you don't fill in everything and you try and register, it won't allow you because it's demanding that the rule is that you have to have something in every one of those fields. Okay. So it just popped me into my server and my main servlet. For some reason, the debugger in Android is just deciding to quit. So I don't know why it just skipped. But so let's just, now it passed it off to the handler. If you want to look down here, thank you for the JSON. Here's Felix the cat. His password, his first name was Felix, and so on, email. And there's his email that I just put in. And so it deserialized it, and now it handed it off to the handler immediately. So let's see. Okay, so it's going over here because Hibernate's kicking off. Okay. I didn't stop it, obviously. Okay, so I'm currently in the register dial program. Okay, so there's its call. It added row 1024. It's committing it. I'm going to click on and go again. So now we're back into register because it just went from the dial layer back into the register. And basically it's setting up the JSON with an OK insert return, and it will return that. So we're going to turn the hash map. I'll let it go. Oh, I went too far, sorry. So it just basically passes it back here, and then it sends it out, as I've said before. So I bet you we just missed it. There was a little message here that said register was okay. So that's basically the 3 screens. And I hope you've enjoyed my app. I would have wished I could have gotten more done in the time that I had. I think I just got stuck on the cloud portion of it because I didn't really like how that whole design was. It should have been designed more like how everything else is, and just felt like that was beyond the scope of what I needed to do to prove that I knew the things that I did know. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I thank you so much.